Okay, so does anyone have anything they'd like to share today or ask any questions or comment on anything?
Master Kim,
Yes.
this is Jan. This week when we've been doing Dantian exercises, it feels integrally connected to the third eye. And I'm feeling that, I don't know if I'm properly focused, but it really feels important this week for me that the third eye connection to the Dantian is recognized.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Very good. Very good. Yeah. You know, the more you do this, the clearer it becomes that really it's one system. And so, you know, the more it will become apparent. As a matter of fact, actually, when you breathe, you actually feel that the third eye is not really just actually, you know, anything conceptual or anything like that. Actually, when I breathe, you know, I can feel like the third eye literally like heating up, and it's not hypothetical at all. You know, I keep saying I keep saying that these are not, you know, energetic things, that these are physiological things. Not only are they energetic, but they're actually, there's an actual physical component. And um, as you keep breathing, one of the things that you will feel is that there literally is a physical channel that goes from the crown through your third eye, through your throat, through your chest cavity, all the way down to your perineum. And it's actually, the issue is the muscles developing enough and for them to become clear enough for you to actually be able to feel it. But even when it's actually not that clear, you really start feeling it. So anyways, so you're correct. The third eye is critically important to the Dantian breathing. And the more you do it, the more you feel the connectivity between them. And as you start feeling the connectivity between them, the magic really starts happening, because you start seeing how the different centers start supporting each other. And, you know, for one thing, like when I first started this, and this is, you know, this is even before I started feeling my channels as concretely as they did. At first, it's more likely before you feel the channel that you actually just feel the centers. And then you're like, oh, wow, these centers are real as you're breathing. And then at some point, as your breathing gets strong enough, you start realizing, oh, not only are the centers real, but the channels, you know, when I first started feeling my centers, I felt, oh, wow, this is a physical thing. Like as I'm breathing, I can actually feel my physical body glowing, and the energy, and then the energetic component being really strong on top of that even. And I thought that the energetic component would become so strong that actually the energetic components would connect. You know, I didn't actually expect actually the physical part to connect, and then become as apparent. But even before I felt all that, one of the key things that actually happened as I was doing these practices is I realized that when my third eye is not open and not calm enough, then I can't properly feel, or I can't properly feel my body because I'm in my head. And I realized, oh, that's why the emphasis on the third eye, the mind needs to be calm. And as the mind calms, and this part I can't explain, you know, I'm not sure why this is actually, but as the mind calms, the density that was in your head sinks to your dantian. And they call this phenomenon qi sinking to dantian. And you all experience it. And the head becomes clear and light, and kind of like, they say cool. And the dantian starts becoming fuller. And this is a subtle sensation. This is actually not even related to what I've been talking about. This is actually more of a concrete sensation. I mean, a subtle sensation, but you can feel it. And unless your mind, your third eye, is calm enough, you won't actually even notice it, unless you're actually paying attention and bringing awareness to it. But the heaviness sinks, and you can literally feel like the top emptying out, and your head kind of gets cooler, and then your dantian gets like fuller and heavier, and then your dantian starts heating up, which is like really cool. And so you're correct, actually. Unless the third eye calms down, you can't properly experience your dantian. And so I'm gonna guess that at the intuitive level that you're feeling that, and I'm going to say keep training, and especially when you're doing the gold series, keep keep training the pressurized breathing, because without the pressurized breathing, you cannot actually physically connect all the channels. And unless it happens, the inner fire, it's very difficult to properly awaken the inner fire.
That's very helpful. Thank you, Master Kim.
Oh, you're welcome. So good training. It's good training. And it's just a matter of time, right? Like as you keep on your cultivation journey, it starts opening up. So
thank you, Master Kim.
Welcome. Okay, very good. Well, does anyone else have anything they'd like to share or comment on or ask any questions?
I have something I'd like to comment on.
Oh, absolutely. Go ahead, please.
So this is less connected with dantian breathing, because I'm not feeling this as much with dantian breathing, but it's part of this for me is confirmation, maybe looking for confirmation, or I think I know what's happening and I think it's a good thing, but I guess I'm just, part of me is wondering if this is something that is common. Lately, when I do daily practice and I do pressurized breathing, and it happened today during the meditation, during the source breathing, there's this point where I feel the pressure and the energy sort of moving upward. And then it feels like being lightheaded, and I almost feel a little queasy, almost like when you quickly come up after, like you move your head from your knees very quickly up and you have that sort of lightheaded feeling. And I feel like brightness, but it feels, it reminds me of things that I would have interpreted in the past as being negative, like being lightheaded and queasy because you change your pressure really quickly or whatever. Well, this would just happen spontaneously now during the pressurized breathing, especially. And it feels like light. And it's like, oh, this is light. But then it's like, but am I just like basically, is there something going on that is similar to when you are about to pass out, and it feels good because then I can feel sort of my centers opening, but it's interesting that it comes with like a queasiness and a lightheadedness feeling. It almost feels like, I know I'm not going to pass out, but for some reason it almost feels like I could. Maybe it's just because of the association with how I used to feel in the past when I was a kid, if something like that happened. So it makes me wonder if, is this what it means to actually see and feel light? Because it actually feels light.
Yes.
Before you would say light and I'd be like, it felt conceptual. Now it's like, oh no, I feel the brightness. But then it comes with this this other stuff, which makes me wonder, like, okay, what's going on? So that's kind of my question.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Okay, I'm really glad you're asking this question. Okay, so number one, I'm gonna just say this. Yes, you can pass out. And in the daily practice, you'll notice that I say, do not, under any circumstances, do this while you're taking a bath or in the water, because you can pass out. And if you pass out in water, then you can drown to death. And people have. Um, and that's one of the reasons why, you're supposed to do it when people are around, or at the very least in a circumstance where if you do pass out, it's okay. So, where you don't have any sharp objects if you fall, or, some people recommend that you actually do this while laying down or seated, so that if you fall, the distance that you fall is not so much. Like if you stand and you fall, you could hurt yourself. And so you can pass out. But what I'd like to say is that that's one of the reasons why you do it with awareness. And if you don't force anything, you're gonna be fine. But having said that, yes, you're definitely seeing the light we're talking about. And as you mentioned, it is not hypothetical. It like literally everything gets bright and you literally see just more light. And it gets brighter. And here's the good part, or the best part, it gets brighter and brighter. And eventually, as your body acclimates, the queasiness goes away. And the dizziness also goes away. Now, the dizziness and the queasiness traditionally says it happens for a multitude of reasons. The main thing is that it says that you're basically expelling and releasing the toxins in your body, and you're basically cleansing your body. And I feel that, kind of as a general, I feel that actually is true. One of the things if you read, there's a lot of things written on this. Some people believe that the reason you're starting to feel more light, actually, you're gonna start also very potentially seeing things and hallucinating things. So if that happens, don't be alarmed. And so some people believe that the light comes because of DMT release. Your body naturally releases DMT. And some people believe this is actually happening because your body's finally being oxygenated. And when your body was not oxygenated, but all of a sudden it's getting oxygenated, then everything gets brighter because your nervous system, your brain is getting supplied with more energy. So your brain lights up. That's what some of the things that people believe is actually happening, or your nervous system isn't lighting up. The pressure change that happens from that, they believe is actually causing the dizziness. But some people actually feel that, some people believe that the scientific explanation that is because your brain was actually lacking oxygen, and now that it actually has that much oxygen, it's not used to it and it's feeling dizzy first, and that you need to actually let that pass for a little bit. The nausea that you're feeling actually oftentimes happens because there's so much breathing. You're literally, actually, you probably noticed, you're moving your intestines a lot when you're breathing that much. Your breathing typically doesn't reach all the way down to your intestines. Most people's breathing barely even reach the bottom of the lungs. But actually, if you're doing these type of deep breathings where you're feeling, all the way where you're feeling dizzy, one of the things that you'll notice is that the breath is reaching all the way down to your organs. And so you're actually moving things down there that you're not used to. And so there's a good chance that actually you're stimulating like responses that you're not used to, stimulating. And one of the key things that you'll notice is that if you pressurize your solar plexus incorrectly, you feel nausea.
Hmm.
And so, so let's say, for instance, if you've eaten some things, or like you have gas caught up, or you're not digesting things properly, it's one of the reasons why some people recommend that you actually do this before you eat in an empty stomach. But either way, one of the key things that you'll notice is that over time, the queasiness goes away.
Wow.
So I don't know whether this helps, but
Yeah, it does. And if I could just ask a quick follow-up.
Absolutely.
What I'm trying to differentiate is, there's often, you and Shifu Neuhaus would often say, be careful about pressurizing your head too much.
Yes.
And maybe one of the things I'm trying to understand, in a sense, is the difference between what I'm experiencing now, where I feel that like light, and then that it does feel like it's almost like something moves into my head, but it's almost like it feels like the energy is moving up, and then it's clear. I feel it clearing the channels, like it actually feels good. But
Yes.
then I think I worry, oh, maybe my energy is too much in my head. And so then I might sort of get a little scared and then like sort of try to put it back
Oh, I
down or
see.
something, so because I
No, no, no,
can't
no,
tell
no.
the difference
Yeah, no,
between.
that's totally fine. That's totally fine. That's not the same thing. So there's this feeling where the pressure is rising to the top. It's really apparent when you hold your breath. So when you're
Right.
practicing your breath hold, you'll notice that the energy rises to the top. And if the energy rises all the way to your head, one of the things that happens is that's when you pass out, actually. And so there's this feeling of this pressure rising to the head. And so you can tell how much these meditators, played with this stuff, because they have such clear distinctions about this. And I have this experience. I think I've shared this here, like in class before, but I thought that I was actually doing okay. I was rising, but I was like, oh, I can keep it down. And I felt it up to my neck. And then I don't remember, because I passed out. The next thing I remember is my teacher was on top of me, pressing my the point right above, like, my lips, and between my lips and my nose, that the divot in your above your lip. And it's called renjong,
Mhm.
or the center, and it's actually what you're supposed to press if someone what you call faints. And I just felt just incredible searing pain just spreading, and all of a sudden I woke up to that pressure, and my teacher saying, I told you, keep the chi down. He was rather upset with me. So anyway, so it's actually one of the reasons I don't teach breath holds as much, but pressurized breathing can have the same effect. And what you'll notice is that if you pressurize, especially the solar plexus area incorrectly, or the heart area incorrectly, you can pass out. And so, but having said all that, the kind of sensation that you're feeling, you're totally safe, because it's happening while you're still breathing. And so when you feel the pressure and you're not doing any kind of breath holds, that's actually really safe.
So you mean even when you hold it, when you breathe in, and then there's that point where you sort of just hold it for a little bit. I mean, that is part of the pressurized breathing, right? There is a point where you,
Yes.
at the very top, when you breathe in completely, that's when it's sort of like it's when I finish the in breath and I feel the pressure, and then as soon as I start holding, I feel it rising upward. And
Yes,
then the
yes,
light
yes.
gets really powerful.
Yes, that's correct.
Then I start getting queasy.
Yeah.
Where's the line between that and passing out, or is it
Oh,
just a matter of being aware?
it's a matter of being aware.
Okay.
You'll feel it. You'll feel it coming up. So, and if you, so, but that's one of the reasons, like you just hold it for not too long, but you can feel it coming up. And for short holds like that, it's actually fine.
Okay.
So, but you'll feel the dizziness increasing. And so that's what you want to be cautious of.
Okay. Yeah, so
So,
ride the edge of that, but don't push it too far. Okay.
yes.
Okay, that's so
And
helpful. Thank you so much, Master.
yeah, you're welcome. And the good news is that you can tell that you're doing it correctly because you feel things opening and it feels good. And it's transitory. So, but yeah, it's good. So, it's like just be aware, but don't be afraid.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Oh, welcome. Great question. Great question. So, it's like making some good headway there. That's great cultivation.
Thank you.
Yeah, making me really happy here. As more of us experiencing weird things. Okay, very good. Okay, I'm almost done cleaning here. Does anyone have anything else they'd like to share or comment on or ask any questions?
I had a couple of things that I noticed today. One was my head is feeling sort of congested, cloudy, fatigued, and I was feeling the space around it and feeling the space behind my ears, but it continued to feel that way. And eventually I realized, oh, my body actually feels reasonably okay. And it felt like even though I was focusing on the space around my head, I was still focusing too much on my head. And that actually what I needed to do was focus on the rest of my body to kind of help that dissipate. So that was one thing. And then the other thing was just feeling when we were doing the Dantian breathing, a sense of like a bowl lined with light or with sparkles, kind of like a sparkly bowl at the Dantian, and the light kind of expanding and contracting inside of the bowl. And it was similar to the sensation I had of champagne bubbles the other day when we did that. Just like remembering what you were saying about tuning into the happiness that's already there. And yeah, just feeling that expand. So wanted to share that as well.
Well, thank you for sharing that. It's really good. Yeah, it's difficult to do this, but one of the reasons the classics and the teaching is warn a person against seeking the spectacular experiences is because expectations stop us from actually experiencing the thing that we are supposed to experience. Like probably the easiest analogy is, someone saying like, oh, I gotta sleep, or I gotta relax. You tense way more. Like the more you try and get results, you become over-focused, and that expectation actually stops you from being able to experience it. And so it's one of the reasons why it is warned against to use the goal series to try and feel better or actually take care of an ailment, because it causes tension. And so it sounds like you're able to, divert yourself away from that eventually. But one of the key things about this whole is learning how to focus on something else. So let's say, for instance, a good example is instead of trying to relax, which doesn't work, you actually focus on looking out and extending. Ironically, that lengthens your body. And so therefore, it starts opening your body up. So in some ways, the principles are there so that you can learn how to shift your focus. And there's a famous cookie experiment with 4-year-olds where they experimented, whether a kid could basically not give in to having a cookie for 10 minutes if they were promised that they would have another cookie if they could wait for 10 minutes. And what they found is that the kids who were able to wait for 10 minutes were successful in being able to divert their attention to something else while they're waiting and not stay focused. There was a kids who stayed focused on the cookies and trying to not eat that actually ended up eating the cookie. And it shows how our mind works. So essentially, when you are suffering, being able to divert your attention to something else that would eventually get you what you're looking for is actually what you're looking for. But the thing is that when we're in pain, we're looking for something immediate when actually the process itself has to be gradual. Because relaxation is a gradual process. It is the process of the body opening up like a flower. And imagine trying to pry a flower open, you're going to damage the flower. And that's actually why it's difficult, because you need to be able to shift your attention to something that can slow you down and open you up like a flower. And as long as you're trying to get fast results, you're gonna really get partial mixed results or something else. So you need to kind of look at it as like, I got 2 hours to slowly let my body open. So now that's actually kind of being smart, because you're like, okay, I'm gonna just slowly open my body up step by step. So now I'm gonna just focus on this aspect. That's why it actually is the whole thing is divided into different segments so that you can actually claim different aspects of relaxation. So that you can actually just, if you are in a hyper-focused state where you can actually just focus at a particular part of relaxation so that cumulatively you can relax all the different parts. And so kind of take that approach and then see whether that will help you further by understanding you need to divert your attention. You need to focus on something else. And that as long as you keep focusing on your pain, you're gonna keep getting the same results.
Thank you so much, Master Kim. Yeah, I love that image of the kids focusing on something else other than the cookie. That makes it very concrete.
Yeah, there's just no two ways about it. So
Yeah.
okay.
Well, and then they get to have an extra cookie. I mean, it's just, yeah, that's a great target.
Yes, I think it just kind of, basically, it's a very concept of cultivation, right?
Yeah. Thank you
Okay,
so much.
very good. You're welcome. Okay, I do need to run here because I'm running late. So you all have that extra cookie. Have a great cultivation day and have fun. Bye.
Master Kim.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
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 Bye.